Hey there, I'm Colin Wright, and I am going to answer some of your questions. So this one came in from Facebook the other day. How do you balance me time with everyone else time? Isn't it hard to be active online all of the time? This is a great question on multiple levels because, one, there's this concern that if you put yourself too far out there, then you'll give too much of yourself and maybe cease to have all of the things that you enjoy, the internal, introverted time that you might enjoy, time that you might spend on reading or personal development or the things that you enjoy doing because you give too much of yourself if you put yourself out there. But it's also excellent because in life in general, even beyond any type of promotion that you might do online or any type of community building that you might do online, there's this concern that you might become too much part of a group or too much just one portion, one sprocket in a larger machine, whereas you might want to be an individual rather than just part of a whole. And for me, I strike this balance by ensuring that I focus on me first. The word selfish gets a really bad rep, and I think in a lot of cases because it's the negative type of selfish that you usually think of when you utilize that particular word. You think of doing things that are destructive to other people in favor of giving something to yourself. But I would argue that ideally, you are a little bit selfish when it comes to figuring out how you relate to the larger world around you. That means taking care of yourself, ensuring that you're healthy, ensuring that you're happy, ensuring that you are stable, that you are psychologically well off, ensuring that you have everything that you need so that then you can in turn be a better part of whatever community you want to be a part of. Even if it's a two-person community, if it's a partnership, it's a relationship. That's something that works much better if you ensure that you are stable and sustainable and feeling strong and healthy first. And so what that looks like for me is I check in with myself every day and make sure that I'm doing the things that I want to be doing. And so long as I am moving closer toward the goals that I want to accomplish and getting the things done that I want to get done and experiencing the things that I want to experience and am able to build the types of relationships that I want to build, then I'm able to take some of this extra time and this extra energy that I have to devote to my relationships. And as a result, my relationships have been stronger, but I have also been far stronger in everything that I do. And so that balance then, by focusing on me first and then putting myself out there into the world, I have a lot more to give to the world, to other people, to people who might be in a relationship with me or in part of a community with me, because I am taken care of. And I ensure that I am taken care of, so nobody else has to spend their time taking care of me. Now, the other part of this question was concern over being too active online or being too connected to the wider world around you. And this is frankly a very legitimate concern. I see a lot of people out there who are sometimes very popular and doing very well online, but their real life has atrophied and their real relationships in the real world have atrophied. That's not to say that online relationships can't be real and can't be valuable, but their tangible, real environment, physical world relationships suffer as a result of their activities online. And to me, that's not a healthy balance. That's not something that works. So when I approach social media, when I approach connecting with folks online and answering emails and things like this, I make sure that my real world self and my real immediate space relationships are taken care of first. And then anything else above and beyond that I can then spare to maintain and build and structure and restructure this network, which is incredibly valuable to me. But it's something that I want to ensure that I can do in a healthy way. And I feel that if I try to put too much out there into the ether, when I don't have enough to sustain what's going on right here and now, that's something that can very quickly become unsustainable. And that doesn't mean that you have to be inactive. A lot of what I do online are things that are systematized, they're automated. I use tools like Hootsuite to auto-schedule things. When I find links that I enjoy, I click a button and it auto-schedules it to post it at some point in the future. The same thing with Instagram and, Snapchat, any other network that I'm on, I fit them into my schedule when it makes sense, and no more than that. And so long as you focus on making these things work for you as makes sense within your schedule and what you hope to accomplish, then you won't be overburdened. You won't tip one way or the other and fall overboard. Whereas if you try to take somebody else's method and try to use a bunch of these gimmicks and tricks that are out there to try to become Twitter famous or something, chances are you'll go overboard, but you probably also won't get what you want out of the relationship. And so you'll put all this effort into something and imbalance your entire lifestyle. And for what? For something that won't even pay you the dividends that you were hoping that you would get. So focus on yourself first, focus on what you're trying to achieve, focus on your important immediate relationships, and then integrate some of this other stuff, this bigger networked stuff into your life as makes sense. But not any more than that. Because if you do any more than that, then it becomes imbalanced. And then you, as a result, become imbalanced. Here's another question. Does it make you angry that people pirate your work? I think this is a question that a lot of people get asked. Not just authors like me, but musicians and movie makers and TV producers and anybody who makes anything these days. Chances are, if you have a large enough audience, people will pirate your work, and it will be available for free, despite the fact that this is how you make your living, and despite the fact that you put an immense amount of effort into it, etc. And it's a tricky thing because on one hand, yeah, it sucks because I make my living off of my books, and if everybody was just stealing my books, then I couldn't make a living off of it, and then I would have to stop writing. I would have to do something else for a living, or at least put less time into writing. But on the other hand, I mean, I grew up with Napster. I'm from the Napster generation, and I've pirated plenty of things. And so there's kind of this give and take thing where even though it's upsetting on some level, I totally get it on another level. And thinking about it in these terms has changed the way that I respond to this stuff. If I find the need to pirate something for some reason, if it's not available in some other country that I'm in, for example, that tends to be the biggest reason, then I will go out of my way to figure out a way to compensate the artist or the maker of whatever it is that was pirated in some way later. That's a partial solution, not something that everybody would agree with, but the reality of the space that we live in today, the internet space that we live in where everything is connected in this way, you can tell people, don't do this. You can make it illegal to do this. You can guilt people and try to make them not do this. People will do it, though. There's still going to be a great number of people who pirate stuff, no matter what you do. If it's technologically possible, and almost everything is, people will do it. And so then you have the option of either just being pissed off at the world all the time, which to me is a bad route to take that tends to alienate the very people who are enjoying your work. I mean, they're going out of their way to get your work anyway, even if they're not paying for it. So these are fans, these are people potentially who are enjoying what you're doing. So you could get pissed off at them. That to me doesn't seem like a great life choice. Or you can embrace it and say, how do I make this work for me? And so what I've done typically is try to embrace this and say, okay, how do I make people want to pay me? How do I make people accept the fact that, here there's this artist, there's this author behind this product, and that I need to make a living, but at the same time I also understand that maybe they're not in the position to pay for it. So then what do I do? Well, my solution for this years ago when I started writing books was to write a message to people who pirate my work on my copyright page. And it essentially says, hey, thanks for buying this if you bought it. I really appreciate that. If you didn't buy it, I hope you enjoy it too. If you pirated it, that's fine. If you get the chance, maybe buy another book of mine at some point, or tell your friends about it, or leave a review somewhere. Figure out another way to contribute. And then that way, rather than demonizing people and telling them that they're wrong for doing something that they may not perceive that way, tell them how they can make it right, or how they can support you if they appreciate what you're doing. And to me, that's a much better solution. Rather than hoping or wishing that the world was a different way, to accept that the world is this way and then figure out a way to turn that negative into a positive. And just a note, I do appreciate it when people buy my stuff. And so I go out of my way to make it as affordable as possible, as accessible as possible everywhere in the world. But I also know that people will pirate it. So anybody who pirated my work out there, if you get the chance, maybe leave a review or tell a friend or buy another one of my books at some point. But hopefully you enjoy it either way. At the end of the day, that's why I'm doing this work, is to get my books into a lot of people's hands and hopefully give some people some information and some ways of thinking. thinking that they might not have thought of before. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, you can find out more about me and my work at colin.io. You can find me all over the internet at Colin is my name. And if you want to see other videos like this in the future, you can subscribe. A thumbs up like for this video would be awesome. And if you want to ask me a question that I might answer in a future video, you can leave it in the comments section below. Thanks.